This is Storytelling with Puppets, and this next story is one called The Story, and it comes from the book Frog and Toad Are Friends by Arnold Lobel. So to tell this story, you just need two puppets, Frog and Toad. They are the only characters, and the story is told all through dialogue. There's no narration, so their voices, their personalities have to be really distinct, and you'll see what they're like pretty soon. So here's how the story starts. Frog, how are you today? Not very well, Toad. Oh, I noticed you look pretty green. Huh. I'm supposed to look green, Toad. I am a frog. Well, I know that, but you look even greener than usual. Well, I don't feel very well, Toad. Well then, you should rest, and I will take care of you. Here, you lie down there, and I will take care of you, and is there anything you would like while you are resting? Well, if you could tell me a story, that would be nice. So at this point, just that introductory part, you can tell that Toad has a very different voice than Frog. Frog is very sort of mild and quiet. Toad is a little bit louder, goofier, and that needs to come out in the beginning, but then it'll definitely come out once we get into the main part of the story. Okay, I will tell you a story. Story. Oh, try this. Toad. Yes, Frog. Toad, why are you walking back and forth and back and forth? Well, Frog, I was thinking that if I walked back and forth and back and forth, it would help me think of a story to tell you. Oh, and did it help you? Well, no. But you rest. I will think of one. So that's the first of a few segments that kind of repeat in that same pattern, with Toad trying some different things and Frog interrupting him. And each time Toad gets a little more frantic at not being able to think of a story, and Frog gets a little more impatient with him each time. So that should show in your voices for both of them as well. Let me think. Why not? Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Whoa. Ta-da! Whoa. Toad, why are you standing on your head? Because I think if I stand on my head, it might help me think of a story to tell. Oh, Toad, did you think of a story? No, I didn't, Frog. But you rest. I'm sure I will think of one soon. Let me see. Oh, I know. Let's see. I'll get some water. And let's see. I will just, I will squirt it on myself. 1, 2, 3. Ah! 1, 2, 3. Oh! 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. Toad, why are you squirting yourself with water? And of course, the squirting with water is a nice little audience interaction, because Toad squirts himself, maybe a little bit, but mostly he misses himself and gets the kids in the audience, which is always a bit of a surprise and a lot of fun. Especially since we're going to do it again, so they'll be anticipating it the second time. Well, Frog, I was thinking that if I squirted myself with water, I could think it would help me think of a story to tell. And did you think of a story to tell? No, I still didn't. But I'm sure I can. Here, you lie down again. I will think of a story to tell. Let me see. Oh, let's see. There's the wall. I will step back from the wall. And, this should work. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oof. Oh dear. I better try that again. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oof. Oof. Oh my. I have a bit of a headache, but I'll try again. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Wait, Toad. Why are you banging your head into the wall? Because, Frog, I thought it might help me think of a story to tell. And as far as banging his head into the wall, it depends on sort of where you're sitting. Sometimes I'll use a chair or something else, but you don't really need anything. I just pretend I'm the wall for this part of it, and it works out just fine. And did that help you think of a story to tell finally, Toad? No, Frog, it didn't. And not only that, Frog, I don't feel very good anymore. You don't? Well, you know what, Toad? I feel a lot better. You do? Yes, and since you don't feel well, why don't you lie down, and I will take care of you. Well, thank you, Frog. And is there anything I can do for you while you're resting, Toad? Well, a story would be nice. That is, if you could think of one. You know what, Toad? I can think of a story to tell. Here is my story. I think you'll like it. Once upon a time, there were two friends, and one of the friends didn't feel well, so the other one decided to tell him a story. And so he walked back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, but he couldn't think of a story to tell. And then he decided to stand on his head. And he stood on his head and stood on his head, but he still couldn't think of a story to tell. So he got some water, and he squirted some water on himself. And again, the kids go a little crazy as you squirt them, but he still couldn't think of a story to tell. And that water piece does require you to just kind of subtly, since Toad is asleep right now, you can take your hand out of Toad, put the water bottle up here, and work the squirter. And then put the bottle back down, and slip back into Toad. But he still couldn't think of a story to tell. So he banged his head against the wall, do-do-do-do-do-do, oof, and he still couldn't think of a story to tell. So he didn't feel very well after that, so his friend felt better and decided to tell him a story. And that is the end. What did you think of my story, Toad? Oh, I guess we won't find out what Toad thought of my story, because Toad has fallen asleep. And of course, with this Toad, or this actually a frog puppet, really hard to make him go to sleep, so I kind of have to try to cover, because his eyes are so big and obviously open, so I try to cover his eyes with his hands, which is a little bit awkward, but Toad has fallen asleep. And that is the end of the story from the book Frog and Toad Are Friends by Arnold Lobel. And that is one way you can tell it with puppets.